Well, good Saturday morning to y'all. Lord of mercy, it's Dan. I want to welcome y'all to my home in the sticks. Hope everybody's having a sure enough good Saturday, a start to the weekend. But what I wanted to share with you and y'all today is, Lord, we got to get in this shop and sure enough cook some pole beans. So give me a second, that's what we finna do. All right, you and y'all, let's go. Let's get our cook on. And I'm gonna show you what we're gonna use and all of the ingredients to make this dish. I have here about 2 pounds of some fresh pole beans that come straight out of my garden. What I did was I went ahead, I washed these guys and I cleaned them up, and I have something over here and I'll show you what I'm talking about as far as cleaning them up. I have a 1/4 cup of tomato sauce, 3 cups of chicken broth, about 1½ onions that I cut just long ways. I have some bacon, and this is about, about 10-12 slices that I cut into roughly 1/2-inch strips, like that. And I have some garlic, and this is about maybe 10 or 12 cloves of garlic. And what I'm going to tell you is this recipe is something that I call a 2-hour pole bean recipe. This has been passed down by a few family members of mine. We cooked it when I was younger all the time, and I just started growing pole beans again over here. And I cooked this recipe last year sometime, and I will put one of those iCards up if you, somewhere over here, if you're interested in seeing what the recipe looked like back then. It was bad, I'm here to tell you. This recipe here, you can suit it and tailor it to your needs. If you want to use less bacon, by all means use less bacon. I like garlic, so I've used 10 or 12 cloves of garlic because I like garlic and I like bacon in mine. But of course, if you want to get it back down to the low-fat side, by all means, you just adjust fire on that. So let me show you what I meant when I said that I cleaned the beans up. Okay, here is our green bean just as I picked it off of the vine. And when I say I cleaned the green beans up, see that little bitty stem that it has on there? All I did was I cut that joker off, and there's a cleaned up green bean, or a trimmed pole bean. That's all I did. All right, before we get to cooking, I know somebody's gonna ask me, Dan, 2-hour pole bean recipe, why in the far would you wanna cook these pole beans for 2 hours? Well, that 2 hours and that right there, tomato sauce. Why would you put tomato sauce and cook these green beans or these pole beans for 2 hours? Well, number one, the longer you cook them down, the tender they get. The tomato sauce, I thought was kind of weird too, but the tomato sauce adds almost a 1/3 layer of flavor to these pole beans when you cook them down. All I can say is, if you're interested in making this recipe, make it. See what you think. I really enjoy it, and I'm going to share it with y'all how I cook it. And I'm also using Kentucky Wonder and Vortex pole beans. Why? Because Vortex and Kentucky Wonders are a stringless green bean, pole bean. Let's get over here to the stove and get to cooking these pole beans. I can't wait. All right, y'all, the first step is to take this bacon and we're gonna brown it off in this. What I'm using is a 7-quart enamel Dutch oven, and we are gonna brown this bacon off. That is gonna be the first step into cooking these pole beans. This is probably gonna take, a good 6-7 minutes. So let me brown this bacon off, and we'll get on with the recipe. Okay, y'all, we are about 5 or 6 minutes in. And when I say brown this bacon, we're gonna cook it down to where it's just starting to turn crispy, but it's not done all the way. And I think we're there. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna add our onions in. And what we want to do is we want to actually deglaze the bottom of this pan, because when you're cooking the bacon, there's all these little bitty brown bits of goodness that are stuck to the bottom of the pan. And what happens is these onions will sweat, and they will hopefully get up all of those little bitty brown pieces of bacon and bits that are stuck. So we want to sweat these onions down real good, and we're going to cook this down probably another 5 minutes, and we want these onions to get caramelized somewhat brown. So give me about another 5 minutes and I will turn this camera back on and we'll move on with the recipe. All right, y'all, here we go. We are about 5 or 6 minutes in on these onions. They have become translucent and they are starting to caramelize. What I failed to mention is I am actually cooking this mixture over a medium heat, and I'm using a gas stove. So you have to adjust fire on your stove, be it you have gas or electric. The next step now is we're gonna add our tomato sauce, 1/4 cup of tomato sauce. We're gonna add our garlic in. And we're gonna cook this down probably for about another 5 or 6 minutes. We want the oils and the garlic to be released, and we want everything to incorporate and blend in equally together. And that's what it's looking like so far. So give me about another 5 or 6 minutes and we'll move on to almost the last step to making these 2-hour pole beans. Okay, y'all, it's been about maybe a minute or two. Correction, I said 5 minutes. It'd take about a minute for that garlic to start releasing its oils and get softened. So it's been roughly a minute, maybe a minute and a half, almost 2 minutes. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add in our pole beans straight on top of this mixture. Hopefully without spilling any of them. Get in there. The last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add our 3 cups of chicken broth right on top. Now's the time that we're gonna add in seasonings. Well, we added our seasonings, but we're gonna add some fresh cracked pepper to this. We're gonna add some salt, and this is a kosher salt in a grinder. This is all to taste. I would imagine once these are finished cooking, I'll probably have to re-season them again. And we're gonna add in about a tablespoon of some cayenne pepper. It looks like a lot, but trust me, it is not. Cayenne pepper in crushed form is not hot at all. It's gonna give it a little bit of seasoning. If I dump this whole container into these pole beans, yes, it'll probably be hot. But dry cayenne is not hot, used in moderation. What we're gonna do is we are gonna raise this pot up to a high heat and we're gonna bring this mixture to a boil. Like we are close to being at a boil. This smells wonderful. I wish y'all could smell this. If I had smell-o-vision, it'd be on like a chicken bone, y'all. I'll bring you back when I get this guy up to a boil, and then we'll move on to the last step. All right, y'all, we are on our way. Lord of mercy, let me show you. There are our pole beans. They have come to a boil. You can probably hear it. Smells wonderful. What we're gonna do is we are gonna turn this temperature down to about maybe a low, medium low heat, and we're gonna let this guy simmer for 2 hours. It is approximately 1000 hours or 10 o'clock my time. So I will see y'all in about 2 hours. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna monitor these pole beans as they're cooking. Now, if it looks like the pole beans are starting to lose the juice, and we do want the juice with the pole beans, I'm here to tell you. If it looks like you're losing too much juice, add some chicken broth if you have some left over. Or worst case scenario, just add you some water to it, and you just have to re-season at the end. So give me about 2 hours. Lord of mercy, it's the weight that's killing me because it's smelling good. And I'll see y'all. All right, Dan, how do y'all folks in the South, folks from New Orleans, how do you eat pole beans? Well, most folks from New Orleans or the South, they eat pole beans as a side dish. Like if you do some chicken or some steak or something like that, you eat it as a side dish, kind of like a salad with the steak. It's a side dish. Or there ain't nothing wrong with taking them pole beans and putting them over a bed of rice and just getting after it like that. But you got to have some bread to soak up some of that juice. That's where the beauty is. All right, brothers and sisters, it's been about, well, actually it's been about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Pole beans are done, took them off the stove, got them on a trivet. I'll point you down and let's see what these pole beans look like. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm here to tell you. Ooh-wee. Now, you know old Nan's got to do a taste test, so I'm gonna get me a bowl and let's see what these things taste like. I think they're gonna be good though. Right, here's our little sample of pole beans. Let me get this fork out the way so you can see. I'm here to tell you, they look good and they smell even better. All right, so let's give these guys a taste test. Smell good. Ooh-wee. Wow, that's good. Ooh, Lord. Folks lining up and get slapped to eat this stuff right here. But there you have it, y'all. Old Dan's 2-hour pole bean recipe. I wanted to share it with you. Y'all decide to make this this recipe. Hey, look, it is customizable. You can do whatever you want with it. The 2-hour cooking point is really what makes these beans tender and melt in your mouth, to be honest with you. My uncle come over, he had to try them, so that's why I was like, you know, 2.5 hours later, here I am. But y'all, again, I hope everybody is having a sure enough good weekend, a good Saturday, and I hope y'all have a safe weekend. And if you like this video, Lord of mercy, y'all need to go on and give it a thumbs up to help. If you haven't subscribed to the Homeless Sticks channel, y'all need to come on over, give me a look, because I'm always doing stuff, really. And with that being said, you know what's coming. Dan Reffert showing off, always gonna say it. Don't let nobody dull your shine. Not me, nobody. You sure enough get your shine on. Especially when you're cooking some sure enough pole beans, 2-hour pole beans. And we will see you and y'all in the next video.